If you're obsessed with only being able to clear P1 and not being able to teleport, then this build is for you. Druids have very, very good attack speeds with polearms. So you can see the Giant Thresher here has a very fast attack speed, and with this gear setup, we are currently hitting 19 frames per attack, which is the second highest breakpoint with the Giant Thresher using Fury on a shapeshifter. Another advantage of using Rift on a Druid is that we can take advantage of the Tornado Procs and synergize into its damage. You can see it receives 9% damage per level bonuses from Cyclone, Armor, Twister, and Hurricane. So I've decided to max Hurricane, and that is my second primary skill that I use. You can see Hurricane, it's not doing very much damage, but it does add up overall. And I've put as many points as possible into Cyclone Armor, as well as just one in each of these. And for the rest of the skill tree, I've maxed out Werewolf, Lycanthropy, and Fury, with only 1 point in Feral Rage and 1 point in Rabies. I did put 1 point in Oak Sage, however, I really don't think this is needed. With only 1 point, it simply doesn't stay alive. So you could put this point back into your elemental synergies. And in terms of stats, really all you need is enough strength and dexterity to equip your gear, and the rest can go in vitality. You don't have to pump extra into dexterity because Werewolf inherently has a lot of attack rating. You can see the Werewolf skill has plus 485% attack rating, and then Fury also adds additional attack rating on top of that. And so that allows us a bit more flexibility when it comes to our gear. Beyond having Rift, we also have Carry and Win for more Twister procs, and it's the same idea. Twister will receive synergy damage from these skills in our skill tree. Looking at the helmet, we have a Metamorphosis. This is just a great shape-shifting item. I was back and forth on a few pieces, but ultimately I decided this was my favorite. I was initially running a Nightwing's Veil for more cold damage for the Frozen Orb procs, but I find Metamorphosis has just a much better quality of life. I have a High Lords on the helmet, Dracules on the gloves for the life tap. This helps tremendously, and with the sheer amount of life that you have as a werewolf, you get so much value out of this. I have a random rare ring here with a bit of resist and damage. Ultimately, this can be whatever. I find this build that's a bit more flexible, as you can see with my belt also. I'm using Night Smoke. Again, this is totally interchangeable. I'm pretty much just using it for the all-res. The Mana of Return is a bit nice, but this could be, you know, a string of ears, a Verdungos, really anything. These few items here are quite flexible. And my boots, I just have a random, really crappy tri-res boot. And on the chest, I'm using a Jeweler's Gothic plate socketed with 4 facets. This does bump up the Frozen Orb damage significantly, and it makes it feel really good. But realistically, you know, if you were to swap out these two pieces with actual items, I'm sure you'd be doing a lot more damage, and you'd be able to clear a lot more stuff. And on swap, I find this piece actually very important to the build. I'm not running Call to Arms, honestly, because you have so much life as a werewolf already. I honestly don't even need battle orders. So I'm using Harmony for movement speed, and this just increases the quality of life of the gameplay significantly. In combination with our 1 point in Feral Rage, the Vigor Aura, and the movement speed buff from Feral, you can navigate quite easily. And looking at the charms, just your standard Torch and Annie. I have a Cold Sunder, of course, for the Frozen Orb procs, as well as a variety of charms here. You know, max damage, attack rating. I have a fair amount of cold resist charms, as you can see here. All res, you know, lifers, cold res, damage, stuff like that. Reason being is the resists are a little bit low, but honestly not that bad. Cold res is only 2%, so I would like to get more charms to help fill that out. On the Mercenary, I'm running Faith for more attack speed. This does assist me greatly in hitting that 19 frames per attack speed. And then on the armor, I have Hustle, just so she can stay with me easier. She walks around really quickly, which is nice. And then Cure, this is just a random helmet. Really, it can be anything, but the Cleansing Aura, I guess it's kind of nice. Okay, so let's see this thing in action in a different area. Let's go take it to the Worldstone Keep here. Always using that Harmony on swap for the move speed. Get a stack of Feral Rage for even more move speed. Oh, and it's beautiful. Check out those Frozen Orb procs, those Tornado procs, and Twisters. The Twisters from the Carrion Ring are quite nice because they'll actually stun crowds. Very briefly, of course, but in addition to the Hurricane and the Frozen Orbs and my Mercenary's Freezing Arrow, crowd control is quite good. So as you can see, it's actually clearing Trav quite nicely here. We got a bit lucky because they don't have any Holy Freeze right now, but yeah, check that out. That's pretty sick. Well, that's just about it. And thank you guys so much for watching my shitty Rift Druid build here. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please let me know. There's a lot of room for improvement in this build, and I think there's a lot more potential. I'll see you guys in the next one. Out of Troy. Yeah, keep it easy.